What's up, Team Diadem? We're back with another Courtside Sessions episode, and this time our guest is a familiar face if you've been following along on Diadem's social media. He's one of the top Diadem ambassadors. He's also the USA High School Coach of the Year 2021, and currently the president-elect for USTA Middle States. We're here with Ryan Knarr.
How's it going, Kev?
Good. I'm juiced up. How are you feeling?
Dude, I'm ready. We've been trying to do this podcast for about a year. Great to be down here in Pompano Beach and ready to get it going.
Yeah, I was pretty fired up when you walked in this morning, unannounced. Our production team whipped it up, and we're here in the studio finally. And we can talk a lot about everything you have going on up in PA and beyond too, right?
Absolutely. No, just a ton of stuff going on in PA. Been doing stuff with Diadem since 2016 with AJ and the team, and just it's been unbelievable to see the company grow and evolve from strings to rackets to balls to shoes to pickleball. So, yeah, and just a lot of great stuff going on up in PA, across the board, high school, pro events, everything.
For sure. And you're the president-elect for USTA Middle States. Tell everybody what exactly that means.
Yeah, so I've been on the board side of USTA Middle States for about 10 years now. Have been the vice president here for the last 2, and I've been blessed with the opportunity to be the president-elect. So the next 2 years, 2025 and 2026, I will be the president of USTA Middle States, which is 1.1 million tennis players in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and part of West Virginia. So a lot of players under that belt with USTA Middle States, but we're super pumped to continue to grow the game and do a lot of initiatives that are going to just continue to make things better up there.
I love that, and I would love to hear more about the journey that led you to this position, because I think it's a pretty cool career milestone, and I'm sure something that a lot of people in racket sports strive to get there. So let's rewind and start all the way at the beginning of how did Ryan Knarr get into tennis?
Yeah, no, I mean, I started playing. I was a little bit of a late bloomer. Age 12 started, 13. Had played everything under the sun, soccer, hockey, cross country, all that stuff, and just found tennis. And it's one of those things. It's just become that lifelong love affair with tennis, and it's just been something that has everything that I've done personally, professionally, from high school on. Tennis has been a essential and huge part of my life, and the opportunity to give back as a guardian of the game. And just kind of evolve and grow not only as a person, but use my talents and assets and the things that I can bring to the table to make people better.
That's awesome. So you've clearly been able to do that through leveraging the game in your business life and your personal life. How would you describe yourself as a junior player? What were you like? You said late bloomer. What else?
Pretty much, growing up, my guy was Andy Roddick.
Okay.
And very similar, kind of modeled my whole game after him. I'm the kind of emotional guy. I love to wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I love the underdog mentality. And that's something where I always like to embrace that. I'm also from, up near Philly. We love the underdog in Philly, the whole Rocky kind of vibe. But for me, it was a lot of hard work because I had to make up for lost time. And to be able to go out and play at a very high level in high school, go play college tennis. I'm the only guy you'll probably ever meet to play Division 1, 2, and 3 tennis. That's a totally different story.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But it was one of those things where nothing was given, everything is earned, and you work for what you have. And I just fell in love with the game at an early age, and it was one of those things where I said, okay, I want to do this in high school and then into college, and then it kind of just snowballed from there.
That's awesome. Now, as a guy that has been around coaching and really involved in junior tennis development, and you yourself as a late bloomer, do you have any advice for players that are getting into the game later that want to excel and reach those higher levels of rankings, ratings, all that kind of stuff?
I think it really boils down to a couple things. No matter if you're starting young, in the kind of the preteen years or in high school, surround yourself with good people. Find the people that want to invest in you, that want to help you grow, that want to help you develop on the court, off the court, because you can't do it yourself. No matter how good you are or the potential that you have, you need to find those people that want to embrace you and be part of your team and help you grow and build your brand as a player, as a coach, whatever that is. to me, that's really, a big part of it is you're only as good as the people you have around you.
That's awesome. And what are the key indicators kind of that like parents and players can look for as they're trying to build that support system and team around them? What should they be looking out for?
Yeah, huge. I mean, and that's something as a high school coach and being able to evolve, our program and where it was 3 winning seasons from 1955 to 03. And then I show up as a player and we do pretty good at Conrad Weiser. And then we just, I come back after college and we evolve this thing into a community tennis association. And now people know when they say Rob Azzoni in the tennis circles, oh, that's Conrad Weiser. And that's pretty cool. But it's just I think the ability for parents, it's a 3-way street. You have parents, you have players, and you have the coaches. You have to have that communication. You got to have that trust and that belief. We call it RTB, responsibility, trust, and belief. If you can have that responsibility that I'm going to uphold what my task is as the parent, as the coach, as the player, that trust in each other, that we're going to be able to get it done for each other, and then the belief in yourself, the belief in your support system, and the belief in the program and the people and the tools and the resources that you put around you. Those 3 things, that's essential to building a really good junior player, but also building the infrastructure around them to allow for that to happen, not just in the short term, but not just weeks and months, but years and decades.
Yeah, totally. I love that acronym. Can you hit me with it one more time?
Responsibility, trust, and belief, RTB.
Bang, RTB, baby. I like it. Now let's hear a little bit about this college situation. You just mentioned you played D3, D2, and D1.
Yeah.
How did that all come together?
Yeah, coming out of high school, I also played football, so I was a kicker. So I had a lot of offers to kick in college. It was pretty much tennis or kicking, or maybe both at a smaller school. But I really just loved tennis. Was my passion. Tennis was my love. And it was definitely something that I had maybe 15 scholarships from different levels. Decided to go the D3 route right off the bat. They had a great marketing communications program at Elizabethtown College. Played there for a year, all division, top of the lineup. Had an opportunity then to transfer and go Division I on a partial scholarship to LaSalle in Philly. Loved it there. Was phenomenal. Then the injury started to come, and the knee had a knee injury, wasn't afforded the opportunity to continue with that scholarship. So transferred then to Bloomsburg University up in central part of PA and redshirted, still coming back from the injury, and just wanted to continue to kind of rehab and kind of hatch this little D-Wade, Bosch, LeBron kind of big 3 plan while I was up there to a couple of my buddies that had played at St. Bonaventure and Winthrop and some other D1 schools that we were all going to transfer in together back home at Millersville University D2 and all play together for 1 year as my grad year. So we did just that and made the NCAA tournament. Was the best team I've ever played on as a player, just because the passion and the commitment and the love for each other on that team. I mean, these are guys I grew up playing with in Middle States, that from 12s, 14s, 18s. But to share that year with them was just something I would never forget. So, yeah, people ask me all the time, like, which one do you like the best? And I said, it's kind of up to you. D3, there's different levels of D3 throughout the country. D2 was my favorite because it was a nice mix. And then D1, you're married to it. I mean, it's almost like a job. But you know what you're getting into with that. And if you're looking to play futures or things like that and you're at that level, then obviously D1's going to be more that speed. Unless you're KP Panu, who's the Division II national champion, then you can go down to Georgia and win a national championship down there and come play pro then. So
yeah, totally. I love that. And I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask about your opinion on the different levels. And I think you broke that down really well. So thanks for doing that. And now let's talk about a little bit hanging with your boys, reuniting for that senior season.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about how that transpired, because that's pretty cool. Like, did you guys have a group text going? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, we had 1 or 2 guys that were already there, and I had always kind of had my eye on Millersville. It was kind of, one of those things where kind of wanted to kind of go there all along, but was never really in on it. And then, as things wore on, it was like, all right, I'm gonna ask the date to the prom, so to speak, and go there and We did. We just came in, and it was one of those things where the coach was amazing. She was a Hall of Fame coach, Sherry Weber, she gold ball winner in 40 and over tennis, in the adult space, just a veteran coach. And it felt right. And when it feels right, to me, I'm a very intuitive guy. When something feels right, or you get together with opportunities to bring friends together and have tennis as that platform and share those moments, to me, it was a no-brainer.
That's awesome. And if people follow along the podcast or just tennis in general, that people talk a lot about the culture in college tennis, the team camaraderie, and what that can be like. And now the interesting thing here is you have a few players that are top-level players. Was there ever a conflict of who's going to be where in the lineup or anything like that? Or
for the college stuff?
Yeah. How do you guys go
No,
about that?
it was pretty much sorted itself out, challenge matches, things like that. But in college tennis, you put yourself in the best position to be successful as a team, and that was the thing. The altruistic, nature of our team was we're in it for each other. And injuries piled up. Guys were having back injuries, knees, shoulders. We just did whatever it took. We were all for one and one for all. So it was pretty cool.
You talked a little bit about a personal injury you had.
Yeah.
How were you able to overcome that as a player? Because I think that every player in their career at some point is going to get nicked up.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for players that are facing injuries?
Yeah. I mean, I was I had a hairline fracture of an ankle, dislocated kneecap, shoulder, chronic back pain. It's one of those things where you just have to fight the good fight. You have to, again, surround yourself with good people. Right now, not playing as I once was, but still just being able to function and coach and do things. I have a great PT. I have a great doctor. I have a great staff around me. And it's the same thing where you want to build that as a junior player or a college player to be able to get, your body repaired, get fixed up, and get you back on the court.
And then when you were in college, would you always want to continue working in racket sports, working in tennis, or how did that idea come about?
Yeah, so it was just one of those things. You kind of have to look at life after you play. And after college, I played a ton of, national events. I played a bunch of things, won one national doubles title, which was pretty cool at the State Games of America in the early, I think it was 2013. And then I played a little bit, some futures, played over Kramsock, Austria, have a bunch of friends. One of my closest friends in the whole world is fellow team Diadem member Nick Bible, who actually got me into Diadem with AJ way back in the day. But, just growing up with these guys and seeing what they were doing and being part of the whole culture of tennis then led me to, okay, I want to do this and grow an academy and a community tennis association and coach and get into that. And then obviously into the administrative end with USTA and some of the other organizations, PTA and whatnot.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was that process like for you as you kind of got out and got into the business side of tennis? Where did it all start and how did it evolve? Yeah,
so I actually got in really early while I was still in college. It was crazy. I was still playing at that grad year at Millersville, came back home to Conrad Weiser, and we started a community tennis association called CWTA, which is a 501c3 to promote and grow the sport of tennis. And we knew we could do it in a small way with just a few players, but we ended up having a tremendous high school year based on some of those kids that trained for an entire year. And we thought, why not do this as a whole and be able to offer this from a K to 12 standpoint, from kindergarten through 12th grade, a progressive pathway that we call our pyramid of success progressive pathway, that kids can go from a baseline level of beginner whatever year they start in their school career to go all the way through high school and then into college. I did that in my early 20s, and it was one of those things where this started to work and snowball and get bigger and bigger, and then became the high school coach as well. And that is it kind of defined that personal creed for me that we are gonna give our best to everybody that is part of who we are and what we do. I think it also lends itself well to, that's where I'm from. That's my home. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where came back home and started it, and it's just a little bit more meaningful when you can see the faces of the kids in the same spot where you grow up, but give them a better opportunity and make that next generation even better. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, from the program, and then even into USTA, getting into that in my early 20s was one of the best things I've ever done.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think that something that a lot of people don't talk about is in those community-based programs, you can tell that you clearly want to give back, but there's also a money aspect to it, a financial. You have to be able to provide for yourself. You have to be able to provide for the club and facility. What's that relationship like for you in terms of wanting to give the best product and give back as much as you can, but also trying to maintain like a business? You know?
Yeah. I mean, and that's, to me, tennis is about serving and giving. It's twofold, where you go out there and you grow and you promote and you have the passion and the energy and the love for something, whatever it is, tennis just being our platform, and it finds a way to love you back. I think, it's one of those things where when you put yourself out there and you meet other people in the industry and you continue to grow and you continue to develop, not just personally and professionally, but for those around you, it finds a way of all working out, and it certainly has. And it's one of those things where I continue to just see on a global stage now as we get into a lot of the pro stuff that I've done with the pro events, the Madison Keys event, the LS Pro Tennis Challenge, and now seeing, the game at the Olympics and just traveling all over the world, first as playing, and then also now as a coach and administrator. It's just amazing how small tennis really is, and the relationships you can build with people that can influence the rest of your life.
That's awesome. And you mentioned a couple things there that I wanted to touch on for sure. Some of the different programming and events that you've been able to bring to Pennsylvania and really just the U.S. in general. Where do the ideas for these pro events and these cool things start from? And then how could somebody that's maybe in your shoes, it's a coach that has community programs, think about these extra events and how they can impact their community?
No, and I think it all started for me. Our big one is called the Hits for Hope Tennis Tournament. It is every June. It benefits a different charity every year. This was our 13th year. It is the largest tennis tournament in Pennsylvania history and the third largest on the East Coast of the United States. We set the record this year of 300 players. We had 35 different draws. I have two different types of events that I kind of define things by, and that one is a quantity event. You have mass numbers of people. You have 3 different facilities with 15 courts total just going for a week long. But it, again, defines the essence for me of serving and giving, and using tennis as a platform to give back to so many different great charities. And like this year we did the I Am Able Foundation for wheelchair and disabled individuals, and just the outpouring of people that weren't even into tennis that now are into tennis because they came and saw that and want to support that. To me, that's the most rewarding thing, is what we can do from an event like that. Then you've kind of flipped gears and you look at some of the pro stuff. You look at the Madison Keys Court of Dreams celebration of tennis that we did in 2022. That was out at the famous grass court at the All Iowa Lawn Tennis Club. And that kind of just spawned with a relationship I built with Mark Kewen from out there. And then he had gotten contacted with from IMG, from Madison's team, and Max Eisenbud and the whole team down in South Florida about wanting her to come home to the Quad Cities and play. And Mark turned me loose and said, take your vision and make it reality. We need Madison. We got Katie McNally, Nate Healy, and I had to bring our very own KP Panu up there to work his magic. So just a magical event to be able to bring that to the people of the Missouri Valley and to Mark and his family. And then the LS event. That's kind of been, in addition to Hits for Hope, something that I've really worked the last 5 years along with kind of my partner in crime, Dave Emke, from up in PA. Dave's just unbelievable in the tennis industry and how well he's respected. And the event is actually at his parents' estate right there in Wyomissing. It's called the Emke Tennis Garden, one of the most beautiful settings you would ever want to see. And these pro guys walk in not really knowing what to expect. It's a tune-up for the U.S. Open. And, when they leave, they feel cared for and their feelings were engaged, and they got some great prep for the U.S. Open. Jan Choinski yesterday, qualies into the Open, played at our event, and felt very prepared. We want to do that and bring world-class tennis back to Berks County every year, but we also want to do it for a great cause. It's benefited the City of Reading youth tennis program for inner-city youth, and then allow those guys the opportunity to prepare a few 100 miles away from New York to get ready for the Open. But it inspires a generation of kids that don't get to see that or don't get those opportunities to travel around the world to see these pro guys, to see it right in their own backyard, literally.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like the secret sauce there is giving back to the community, finding charitable organizations to partner with, and making it really community-driven events.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And now you also mentioned that you've gotten to travel around a lot and see tennis really in a global view. What are some of your favorite events that you've ever gone to?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's a tough one because there's just been so much. There's definitely things on my calendar every year. I mean, Wimbledon is just such a unique kind of unicorn event. There's just nothing like the beauty and the elegance of Wimbledon. So I just love going there every year. I love going back. My family is from Austria, so I'm involved on the tournament staff of the Salzburg Open. Being a challenger, they have some great thoughts and ideas of how to continue to grow and promote that pro event in the coming years. So I'm super excited. I love going there. And I just love just seeing the people and traveling around. I went to the Olympics this year, and the tennis at the Olympics was just, it just has this special energy like around it that no other tennis event does, because it's once every 4 years. You're playing at one of the majors at Roland Garros. It's such a unique event. I think everybody, whether it's a fan or a spectator or a volunteer or a player or a coach, just realize how special it is when you're there. And that's what tennis is about, is, experiences and giving people those moments that they'll cherish forever.
100%. And I think it was really cool at the US Open. You were on site, on the grounds. You got to talk to some of the Diadem players. And I'm wondering, for someone that's been rocking with the Diadem brand since, 2016, when it was just Solstice Power String.
Right.
Now you're seeing Diadem players at the US Open. What has that growth been like for somebody like you that's been a supporter of Diadem over the years?
Absolutely. It's just been incredible. When I first got connected with AJ back in 16, and that, friendship evolved, and I continued to then kind of grow in with the brand, and we brought it in with our CTA. I mean, we pretty much probably have more Diadem players in PA between Connor Weiser Tennis Association. We got Antietam and some of the other crews. It's just incredible to be able to have the support and the, just ability to network and grow within tennis, and just see how Diadem has come up through the last couple of years. And I always say the best is yet to come. There's just so many great things, and I just love what Diadem is doing and continuing to push and elevate the standards of the game, but doing so kind of, in a disruptive way, in a good way, meaning like not afraid to take chances, go out on a limb, do things, work with coaches, work with players, work with organizations, work with groups, and just continue to grow and evolve, and do so as an all-American tennis brand. So it's just been really special to when I do something, I do it with every single fiber in my body, and it's one of those things where I've continued to work and grow, and just push Diadem as much as I can, because I truly believe in my heart with the brand and what it is and what it can continue to become. So just to see it at the U.S. Open was pretty special. To see, to be able to sit there and see Sasha play, and then talk with Oliver, and have Lynn there to do some of the amazing interviews that she did with the players. It was just really cool, and I just can't wait to see where in the next, months, years, and decades, where Diadem's going to go, because I think the sky's the limit.
100%. You mentioned that the best is yet to come for Diadem. I think the best is also yet to come with Ryan Knarr, the president-elect of USTA Middle States. Before we wrap it up, you want to talk a little bit about what that's going to look like for you and what people can expect from the Middle States section in 25, 26?
Yeah, well, that's great. A little sneak peek. My whole thing is being involved with USTA for so many years and understanding it. I'm also on the National High School Coaches Committee, so I sit on that. I've been on the Adult Comp National Committee, so I've seen things from a top-down approach, from the national level down, but then also, just understanding and being able to relate to people, being able to talk to coaches, to providers, to parents, to players. And that, to me, is the biggest thing, is what can we do to help? What can we do to continue to help grow the game, to facilitate growth, not just at the youth level, but at the 18 to 39, and then also at the league and senior level. To me, that's really what I'm looking at taking stock at right now, is where can we make the most impact in each of those levels, and how can we connect people with the industry to bring their best to Middle States and continue to allow us to be the best version of ourselves that we're capable of becoming. It's 2 years. It's a short timeline. But I hope to have in the coming weeks and months some initiatives that are going to continue to enhance and grow and make things better and take it to the next level for those 1.1 million tennis players, for our board, for our staff, for our entire organization, and also put Middle States and continue to do this, because Middle States, I think, is just such a respected section nationally. Be able to be cutting edge, to think outside the box, to do things that others maybe are a little afraid to try to do, because that's how you implement and you grow and you enhance and you make things better. So I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. Certainly, by January, I'll probably have some ideas and thoughts of where we're going to go with that, but I couldn't be more excited. And like I said, it's one of those things you work through different positions and you grow and you learn and you build that network of people. And we also have an unbelievable group of staff and board that we have in place, and committee members that are, those are the people that make the dreams become reality.
Yeah, I love it. I'm really excited to see everything that you can do to continue impacting communities as you take on that new role. And for the rest of your career, I'm sure there's big things coming down the line, and you're going to keep growing the same way Diadem's going to keep growing, innovative, and
keep growing together.
Yeah, I love that. We could talk all day, but sadly, we have to wrap up this episode of Courtside Sessions. Big thanks to Ryan Knarr for stopping in on his way over to the races. And shout out to our production team. They do a lot of hard work to make this possible. Zach, Sam, Ashley, Jasmine, everybody on the staff, you guys are crushing it. We'll be back with more Courtside Sessions episodes soon enough, but for now, we'll let Ryan roll. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kev. Appreciate it.